So there were all these crazy ideas. Like there was another idea they had that on this certain holiday of like a patron saint, they were gonna light these shells off in the sky that made the sky super bright over Cuba to make them think that the second coming of Christ was coming, and to like freak them out and send them into like a whirlwind of craziness and like start a war that way. So there were all these
Hysteria. What
documented,
the
yeah, basically like
heck?
mass hysteria in Cuba. Welcome back to the Tangent Podcast. It is great to be back with you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. What's going
Great.
on? I'm Dan, by the way. That's Austin. And then we've got a special guest here today. We've got Michael. Michael's our good friend. I've known Michael for a few years now. He's it's always funny when we try and explain like the connection. He is my wife's aunt's brother. Yeah, that's what it
Yep.
is. But
So
but that
most time we just say we're cousins.
yeah. But we're tight, so
Yeah.
yeah. Michael,
Yeah,
you want to
good to hear.
introduce yourself? I mean, I already kind of did, but
Yeah. I'm Michael. I like to party. I am an accountant by day. By night I have a side business. I do lots of woodworking projects.
he does a
Uh
great
side
job, by the way. He does everything at my house. He's the manly kind of man. Like my TV's mounted on my wall because of him. He built me this beautiful laundry room, changing like table on top. Like
yeah.
he's really good. It's what's your business called? Side Quest, right?
Yeah, side quest woodworks.
Yeah.
So
We'll
yeah,
throw a link to it in the notes, in the show notes, if you
nice.
guys want to check it out. He builds awesome like storage racks and stuff too. So high quality
Yeah.
stuff. Go check him out.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's fun. So I like to do that. It's kind of funny when I go on like jobs for my side business. So people will talk to me and they'll be like, "Oh, do you do this full time for a living?" I'll be like, "Oh, no, actually, I'm an accountant." And they're like, "What?" Like, yeah, I just like this. It's fun. Like, I like working with my hands, but like, I didn't want to do it as like a full time career. So I get to, yeah, it gives me some money to buy more tools, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's
It's a
good.
creative
Glad to be here.
outlet. Man.
Yeah.
We're excited to be here on video too. This is our first video thing that we've done, that I've done at least with Kippy. So nice to see
We've
all
done
of
a
you. Hopefully we're
Mhm.
not disappointing looking compared to what you thought we might have looked like.
I'm
yeah.
ruggedly handsome, so it's
Isn't
fine.
it weird sometimes like when you listen to a podcast and you think you know what they look like and then you see their face and you're like, yeah, that's not at all what I thought.
It's always funny, yeah, when you meet people that you've only like known online. You meet them in person, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, totally
Yeah.
different, but it's okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
it works.
Well, that happened not that long ago with you, Kippy, because we'd been playing games, and then the first time I met you in person was when we went to fights
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
UFC. That
Yeah.
happens to me every time. I get this idea of what I think something's gonna look like, and then I'm never right. Like
Never pans out.
never once. Yeah, it never
Yeah.
Yeah.
pans out.
Yeah.
Well, I had seen a picture of you at least in
Yeah.
our like text
Dude,
thread. Your picture was on there, but
you were roasting him so hard.
it's a
It
sign of
was
love. Okay,
it was so funny.
that
Won't
was
repeat
pretty
it
funny.
here, but it was really funny. Yeah, it was
That
good.
was good. Well, Michael, welcome to the podcast. We're excited to have you.
Oh yeah,
Shall
Michael's. We're gonna do a. Should we say what the topic is? Yeah, let's see what the topic.
yeah, we can.
Go ahead. What is the topic? I
We're
kind of
doing
know.
like
So we're doing it a little bit different this time. So normally it's Kippy and I. We prepare a couple topics. We talk about it. But this week I got lucky and I didn't prepare any topic. And Michael here, he has some stuff and Kippy has some stuff, and I'm just gonna kind of like listen. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited to learn. What do you guys have prepared?
Yeah. Well, I think the conversation kind of started like, what sort of conspiracies have interested us, and then Kippy and I were talking about like sort of the Cold War era and how a lot of things seem to be connected. So I think we both ended up picking some like Cold War conspiracies. So I've got
Right on.
one you'll hear about later about Air America, and then I think Kippy's doing something about sort of like the same kind of era.
Yep. Yeah, I've got some stuff about Operation Mongoose, Operation Northwoods around that same time. So
Yeah.
it's a fun topic because it seems like everything from that era is somehow intertwined as well. So
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I don't know much about your topic at all, so I'm actually excited to learn
Good.
about that one.
Yeah.
And
It'll be fun. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure.
All right, let's hop into this drink. Are you guys ready for the drink?
I
we
am.
got Mountain Dew Kickstart. Have you guys ever
Kickstart,
had any of the Kickstart flavors? I never have.
Yes,
pineapple,
I love
orange,
all of them.
mango. I feel like
And
we duped our listeners because last week we said we are gonna do the Aussie lemonade, and we just haven't found the Aussie lemonade monster.
Yeah, these
I went
scumps
So
to
couldn't
3
find it.
stores to try and find it, and I couldn't find it.
That's crazy. I was telling
Yeah.
Dan yesterday, there are 4 gas stations in Tremont. They all have it.
you're
That's
kidding.
crazy.
That-
Are
I'm
any of
not
them
even
Maverick?
joking. 2 of them are Maverick, yeah.
That's crazy. I went to like 3 Mavericks.
I feel like
Not a
maybe I
single one of
should
them
have
had them.
checked like Holiday Oil or maybe even like a
I went
Rogue
to a Holiday.
7-Eleven or
Dude, you
something.
can't cheat on Maverick with holiday oil, though. Come on.
Yeah.
Did
There's a
you know
reason
there's
their
a
mascot's a clown, okay?
Did you know there's a Holiday Oil going in across the street from me?
Oh, you told me that last
Yeah,
time I
like
was at the place.
their
That
freaking
sucks.
lights are probably gonna be blaring into my freaking
The drug
house.
activity is gonna pour into your neighborhood for sure if it's Holiday Oil. At
Son of
Maverick,
a.
we keep it clean at Maverick, okay?
Yeah.
Those Holiday Oil people.
All right, I haven't cracked this thing open yet. Let me.
It's pineapple, orange, mango.
Yep.
Get the
It
live
Take a
smells
good
smell.
amazing.
whiff here.
Dude, it smells amazing.
It smells good.
Very excited.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do that face, Kiffy. Now they can see what you're
I can do
doing.
I can do whatever I want.
You're
That's
just gonna make
good.
me
That
laugh
is
like your face.
Mm.
so good. I love that.
That is very tasty.
Hmm.
I
And it's
taste
made with
all 3 of
coconut
those things
water,
in
so
it.
it's healthy.
That's right. It's 10% juice.
I feel like
Yeah.
you guys are gonna hate me. I don't love it, but it's like
Interesting.
good. I think
It's
it's
good.
really the
Again, 100%.
mango. I think it's the mango at the end that kind of like gives it a little bit much for me.
Have you had any of the other Kickstart flavors?
No.
Black cherry is probably my favorite.
Oh,
I think it's called black cherry.
black cherry sounds good.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
it's not
I
bad.
like this one though. It's good.
This one's good. I probably wouldn't
I'm
pick it
gonna
again, but it's not bad.
I give it a 7.5.
Oh, okay.
I think it's
Let's be
really tasty.
realistic here. For me, it's probably like, yeah, I'll give it a 7. Yeah. Michael?
I'd go. I like it. I'd say it's an 8. I really like it.
Okay.
But I like the fruity. I like the fruity ones. So
Michael's really fruity. Confirmed.
yeah, I'm really fruity. Yeah.
Um, I like that it's only got 45 milligrams of caffeine too, because
Is that it?
where we're where we're
Yeah, it's not
drinking
like
this at
a.
night before bed.
Oh. Oh, no, wait.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
not like
not.
a
Wait, hold
heavy
on.
one.
No, it's not 45. It's 90.
Is
It
it?
says
Oh,
40.
is that
Yeah,
per
16
serving?
ounce can. Yeah,
Yeah,
90.
45
Oh
for the
shoot.
8 and
Okay.
90 for the whole thing.
My
But
reading
monsters are much
comprehension,
more, aren't
boys,
they?
is I think
Yeah,
monsters are
they're like
150,
a little
120.
than that. I don't know.
Which energy drink is like disgusting caffeine? Is it
Probably
Bang
Bang.
Celsius?
Bang has 300.
So does
Holy
Bucked
some
up.
Rain.
Bucked ups
rain.
have
Bucked Up, I
300
think, is
too.
300. Rain is
That is
300.
insane. That is a
Bucked up
lot of
can make you feel
caffeine.
sick. It's a lot of caffeine.
Bucked Up, I don't like them that much. Or
I
Rain.
can't I can't
No.
have a straight face when I hear you guys say bucked up. Like,
Yeah, don't get bucked up. You
oh
wouldn't like it
yeah.
'cause it's 0 sugar. All
Uh
of their whole
Yeah.
lot, their
ugh,
whole thing is 0 sugar.
So
I
is
know.
Rain.
So if you don't like that aspartame
No, I don't.
taste.
I don't.
So
It's
see us big boys, we have to enjoy
okay.
0 calorie
Mhm.
beverage. I'm
Yep.
indulging tonight. This one, oh, it's only 80. That's better than like the full sugar monsters.
Yeah.
80 sugars?
80 calories.
Calories.
Oh, calories. I was
Yeah.
like, 80 grams of sugar. That's nuts.
That'd be
Okay. Yeah.
crazy.
Not bad.
No, it's
Every
good. I
time
like it.
I every time I drink like a sugar soda, I think of that one show, The Two Sisters, where they're at the doctor. It's like My 1,000 Pound Life or whatever.
Oh,
She's like,
6,000
every
pound
time I eat a
or
sugar, I drink a Diet Coke to cancel it out.
Yeah.
yeah, 6,000 pound sisters. So mama always told us if you had a sugar, you just drink a diet soda and it cancels it out.
Yeah, the
Diet sody.
sody. That's what they say, the sody. Oh
I
my
smelled
goodness.
sodies.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that trash TV. So good.
yeah.
Porters. Man,
Swamp
TLC,
people.
they went on a streak there.
Are you an
Michael Fiction.
HGTV? I see you as an HGTV guy, Michael.
Dude,
Like
Joanna
Property
Gaines.
Brothers,
Chip
Chip
and
and
Joanna
Joanna.
Gaines. Okay. Shiplap.
Shit.
Shiplap. Yeah, that's great.
That's funny.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. Whenever Kylie and I travel, which is hardly ever, but if we get a hotel, that is what she'll put on TV is HGTV, like whatever is on there.
That's funny.
Meanwhile, me, I'm trying to like tune in a Comedy Central, watch South Park or something.
As you should.
Oh man.
Love it.
Well, good drink. Let's keep moving on here. So we are really trying to grow the podcast right now. We're super appreciative to all of you for your support. But we are trying to grow. We're trying to reach more people, grow the audience, and in an effort to do that, we would appreciate it if you guys could go like the podcast wherever you're listening, subscribe if you're able to do that on that platform. Also, leave us a nice review. If you enjoy the show, if there's a particular episode you like, go drop us a review. And again, we super appreciate all of your support.
Yeah. Also, we're trying something new. We want to give people an opportunity to be able to connect with us and build a community. So we've made our own Discord. It's in the works. We're not like pro at Discord or anything, but if you're familiar with it, we're making a community, and it's called the Cryptid Corner. Cryptids, paranormal, and conspiracy. So yeah, come join, talk to other people that have similar interests, come hang out. Yeah. So yeah, we'll just plug that there. And yeah, I think we're gonna move on to our game. I got this little game set
Oh,
up.
shoot. My camera came unplugged. Hang on a second.
You're good.
Sorry. All right, I'm back. You got my video now?
Yeah, you're
Yep.
here.
Okay, sorry.
All right. So the game, it's really simple. I've got a list of like, gosh, I don't know, it's pretty long. I was coming up with this the other day. All you have to say is, so I'm gonna say it's like it's either Coke or Pepsi. So you say one or the other, and that I have a ton of things to go through.
Okay.
Okay.
So this first one is we're gonna do that, and then we'll get into our topics. So first, Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Coke.
Coke. Awesome. Good. You're not degenerates.
On
Okay.
that though, if you would have asked me that like 5 years ago, I would have said Pepsi.
Yeah. Okay. It's a good thing we weren't
The older I've gotten, dude, Coke,
It's better.
it's just better. It's just better.
Okay, you're right. When I was in Brazil on my mission, I had Pepsi there that tasted so good. I don't know why it tasted so
Really?
good.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe it was just the desperation, but
Mhm.
it was really good.
I haven't had soda in so long. I've had good food forever.
Oh, there's
The
great
taste of
food down there.
America.
Yeah, the taste of home. Yeah, okay. Cheetos or Doritos?
Cheetos.
Cheetos.
I'm Doritos. You guys suck.
Flamin' Hot Lemon
Donut.
Cheetos are the best chips ever
Those
made,
are
dude.
good. Kylie and I have been buying those a lot, so thanks for that. My thighs, thank you.
If you would have
As
said Smokehouse Barbecue and Cheetos, that would have been a bigger toss-up.
Yeah.
Kylie, one of my favorite lines that Kylie says, she's like, just might as well glue 'em to my thighs. Like, all right, donuts or cookies?
Cookies.
Donuts. Ugh,
Really?
donuts all the
I think I
way.
say donuts.
Yeah.
See,
Cookies, get out of here with that
dude,
dry-ish.
my thing with donuts, like a good craft donut that's fancy, it tastes good. It's fine. But, like, I have a hard time differentiating, like, if I go to a nice donut shop and get, like, a Bavarian cream-filled donut, it tastes no different to me than the 50-cent Bavarian cream donut, like, from the gas station or the grocery
Oh,
store.
you are.
Oh,
That
The
is like
disparity in donut,
heresy.
like,
Get out of
quality
here with that
disparity,
weak
no.
ass opinion. That is such crap. You know
I'll die on
nothing.
that hill.
Opinion
There's
rejected.
I'll die on that hill.
That's
Donuts are
so
good,
funny.
but I don't know, they've never been my favorite treat.
You, you know
Wow.
what? You
This is our first fight, and you're just so wrong.
I feel Kippy, I kind of feel that way about like sushi. Maybe that sounds bad, but I feel like I can't
You're
really
telling me gas
differentiate the
station,
quality. I'm not saying gas station sushi,
gas
okay?
station.
Like
Oh my like, grocery
It's like
store
Kippy
sushi? Are you
saying,
kidding me?
Kippy says gas station donuts are equivalent to a freaking Krispy Kreme. Get out of here.
Hey,
okay, yeah,
Krispy
that's
Kreme, they're
Get out of
fine.
here.
They're, like, this big now, they're tiny, and
it's
they're
true.
$3 a piece, okay?
He's not
Okay,
wrong. I
well,
did buy a dozen the other day and I inhaled 4 of them easily. I could have
have
eaten
you
the whole
been
box.
to? Okay, well, on the cookie front, Crumble, dude, you'll go freaking bankrupt if you go to Crumble.
Bankrupt
Yeah, but
and
Shit,
diabetic for sure.
one cookie, dang, that thing's thick.
but they're
You
not
could
even
commit
good.
crimes with that cookie.
Once they franchised, man, went downhill. It used to be like
Yeah,
a couple stores. There was one in Provo. It was actually elite, but then they
I went
franchised
to
and just terrible.
I went
I
to
think they're pretty
school with the
good.
guy that started it, and he was in one of my business classes,
Oh,
and
Oh,
yeah.
really?
when they opened their first store, he would bring cookies into school all the time.
Oh,
Oh,
They
right
were
on.
so good. Yep.
All right, I have quite a few of these, so we probably
Okay.
have to
okay.
get through them unless we want to be here for 3 hours,
Exactly.
Depends on if
which
there's
is fine.
another fight. I don't
All right, cats or dogs?
Cats.
dogs.
I don't know where I stand on this. I
I
used to be dogs, but I have a cat. I don't think I would ever have a dog again, so cat,
I
I'll say
say
cat.
dogs because my wife's allergic to cats.
Mhm.
Mm,
If I had to choose as a grown-up what pet I wanted, it would be a cat because there's, like, no you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
yeah, they take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
You
right.
can
and they
go
keep
on
the
the
pests at
week
bay.
vacation. Leave them.
It's true. PC or console?
PC.
PC.
PC. All right. Okay, here's a good one. Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert?
Hmm,
Rudy Gobert. I just
that's
like him
tough.
more.
That's tough.
I'm Mitchell myself. I just loved Mitchell so much when he was
I'd
here.
I'd say Mitchell too, just because
But it's
he
a hard
was
one because I really
so
liked Rudy
fun
too.
to watch. Like, I have
I
this
know, yeah.
vivid
Yeah, true.
memory of Donovan Mitchell's, like, first crazy dunk his rookie season.
Oh,
One dude
Yeah.
shot this 3 and it, like, rimmed out and he just,
oh,
like,
did the
soared in
putback?
and slammed
Yeah.
it. Yeah, the putback slam.
Yeah.
And I watched that live and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this dude's on another planet." Like, and then his whole
Yeah.
rookie season, he had highlight reel dunk after highlight reel dunk, and he's
And
just
then
fun to
people started
watch.
defending him correctly.
Yeah,
I
but
guess I
Rudy
like
Gobert,
Rudy. I like Rudy just because it's a guy who like started out not as the best.
Yeah, and he
It's a
worked his
guy
way
who
up, yeah.
didn't it's a guy who didn't really have the athletic ability when he started. Like he was there because he was really tall.
Yeah.
But like he's gotten like more and more and more and more athletic
Yeah.
as like the years go on. Which
He's
I
done a
just
good job.
which I think that's something is I think that's pretty rare.
Yeah, that was a hard one for me. That's why I picked it though.
I think
All right.
Rudy's definitely one of the most underappreciated players in the league for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
he's kind of a part of like a dying breed of players anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't play big man pick and roll ball anymore.
Yeah,
They don't really
unfortunately.
play they don't play defense a lot. The number of like 150-point games I've seen, it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Okay. The Proposal or How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
How to
The
lose a guy in 10
proposal.
days.
How to Lose a Guy in 10
Ooh,
Days. They're
really?
both good though.
Matthew
I don't know. It was
McConaughey.
just I know. It's one of the first like chick flicks that I saw, and I was like, this is so good.
So I like McConaughey better than Reynolds, but I like Sandra Bullock better than who's the chicken? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days?
Is it Kate Hudson?
Kate Hudson,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
Hudson.
So if it could be Bullock
That's
and
valid.
McConaughey paired up, that'd be
Match made in
awesome.
heaven. Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
Star Wars or Lord of the Rings?
Oh,
I'm Lord of the Rings,
Ooh,
but that's not an easy one.
I would.
Lord of
Man.
the Rings movies are nearly impossible to beat. Like the cinematic quality of the
Yeah.
original trilogy is they don't make movies like that anymore. Like a lot, like most of that was makeup, like the orc armies and stuff.
Yeah. It's
The up
so
close
good.
shots. Yeah.
It's
ugh.
so good.
Yeah.
And the
I'd
way
probably have
that
to go.
Disney's really bastardized Star Wars, it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth, you know?
Yeah.
Because the
A little bit.
original Star Wars trilogy, I love the original trilogy.
Yeah.
But Lord of the Rings, how it's been kind of like, I'd say untouched. I really like the Rings of Power. I've liked that addition to the franchise. So they really haven't like
I
screwed it
feel
up
like
in my opinion, like Star
I
Wars
think
has been.
it probably helped that The Hobbit was directed by the same person, so
Yeah.
you didn't lose a lot of value there either to the franchise.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
built on it. So yeah, I'd have to go Lord of the Rings. I think, unfortunately, I do really like Star Wars though.
For me, it's Star Wars strictly because that's what we watched more growing up. And that was like the first series I ever remember watching was Star Wars. And then
Yeah.
we went to all the movies as they came out in the theater. Like
So
the
fun,
second
right?
trilogy. Like we
Yeah.
went to the initial release of episode 3, Revenge of the
Oh
Sith, and
yeah.
I just remember I was like 10 or 11 and just being like, this is it forever. This is the best
Yeah.
movie I've ever seen.
So cool. Yeah.
And
You're like
the
Natalie
other thing,
Portman. Oh.
yeah. The, the other thing was I had like every Star Wars Lego set you could ever have as a kid.
You look like
And
that kind of
so,
guy.
yeah, I was.
I'm just
Dude, I
kidding.
still play with my Star Wars
So
Legos,
see,
man.
I'd
I got
say
them from
that
my parents like a year ago. I still play with
I'm
those.
just kidding, dude.
I think Star Wars made me into more of the nerd I am than Lord of the Rings did though. Cause like I remember playing
There's more
Star
Wars,
Star Wars
yeah, like
Battlefront 2
games
on
and
the original
things. I
Oh,
Xbox.
agree.
that's one of the GOAT games for me.
Yeah.
Like, so good.
Playing in Naboo and like the memory, such a good time.
We
Yep.
have
I just
so
remember
many
now
more of these, by the way. So
my mom bringing down pizza bagels and me sitting there playing Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
sorry,
continue.
All right, keep going.
I know. I want us to talk about this, but we will never get through this list because I'm sitting here and I'm scrolling. I'm like, okay,
All right,
all
keep
right,
going.
All right, battle some off
Rapid
ones anyway.
fire.
you're good. You're good. NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Backstreet Boys.
In sync.
Backstreet Boys for me.
You're just doing
I
that to freaking be the contrarian, aren't you?
No, I'm
Yeah.
not. And Backstreet Boys, I always like. I went to their
Okay, keep
concert. They were
going.
awesome. You're right. Okay, I swear. Okay, when I added these two next two on the list, I swear I'm talking about the music, but my wife thinks I'm talking about their looks. So here goes nothing. Sabrina Carpenter or Olivia Rodrigo, if you even know who that is.
Sabrina Carpenter for both.
Sabrina
Actually.
Carpenter. Yeah.
I'm Olivia Rodrigo.
I
Her
don't
lyrics
know
are so
much of her
good.
music.
She connects with that inner teen, just that angsty teen.
Oh my god.
Okay, Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
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 Yeah,
Yep. All right. Maybe I won't ask. No, I'll ask this one. Innie or Audi for belly button?
Belly button. Okay, that's
Innie.
any. Yep, any.
Not what you have. I mean, it could be what you have or what you prefer. I don't care.
I mean,
We
I
all
can
said
show
innie.
you.
No.
Yeah, we could all let's all lift up our shirts, man.
Yeah, maybe
Dan can blur it later.
that's our paid content. So if you want to subscribe to our Patreon, you can show our belly buttons.
I don't know that you can see mine through this happy highway of stomach hair I got
The
going on.
hairiest donut you've ever seen.
Maybe that's why I don't like donuts that much.
I already know the answer to this one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Maverick or Holiday Oil?
Oh,
Maverick.
Maverick, so
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, Maverick.
Clown question, bro.
Yeah, that was a bad one. But our viewers need to know. Okay, maybe this doesn't apply to everyone. Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking
I've
Bad.
never seen Game of Thrones,
Yeah, I've never
Break-
seen Game of Thrones either.
but
Oh,
I can't
okay.
imagine it's better than Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Game
Breaking
of
Bad.
Thrones is
So good.
really good, but it fell off a cliff. Okay, sunset or sunrise?
Sunset.
Sunset.
Sunrise for me, just because I love sunrise golf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right,
Okay.
chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Vanilla. Same.
Vanilla.
All right, paranormal or conspiracy?
Conspiracy.
I'm paranormal.
Oh, paranormal.
Okay,
That's a tough one though.
Netflix or Hulu?
Oh,
Hulu.
Netflix.
Hulu sucks on my phone. It never works. I'll say Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Friends or The Office?
The Office.
The Office.
The Office. Same. Okay. Rachel or Monica? From Friends.
Rachel.
We going off looks, personality?
Whatever comes to mind.
I always thought Monica was kind of annoying. So.
Rachel. Yeah,
Rachel.
she seems more fun.
Mhm.
Okay, Pam or Jan?
Pam?
Jan, 100%. Take me by the hand.
I'll say Pam, realistically, but there's a part of me that wants to say Jan.
Wait, are we doing Jan
Is it two parts of you that want to say Jan? Yeah.
Is it Jan pre or post surgery?
Whatever you want to say. Okay, Alien or Predator?
Predator.
Predator.
I'll say Alien. Okay. I forgot it. What was on this list? Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
I haven't seen either, honestly, but probably Oppenheimer because I like
Okay.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, so good.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Dude, I am realizing how much I like winter right now, but I still got to go summer.
Yeah, summer. Okay, Apple or Android?
Android.
Android.
100%. Yep.
Okay.
Easy.
If you guys are
Google.
listening on an Apple device right now, please continue to listen.
Oh, I
but
thought you were gonna
do
go the
yourselves a
opposite
favor.
direction.
Go out and buy an
Like,
Android.
I thought you were gonna say if you have an Apple device, please go to a bathtub, drop it in there, drop a toaster in there as well, but don't be in the bathtub with the toaster.
Whoa.
Live, laugh, toaster bath.
All right,
So it's hanging up in our house.
Chrome or Microsoft Edge?
Oh, Chrome.
Uh,
That's the first thing I do. That's the first thing I do on a new computer, man. Delete Microsoft Edge.
you
I use
only
it to
use
download
like, "Are you
Chrome.
Microsoft Edge to download Chrome. Yep.
Yeah,
We can do everything you want. Just stick with us. No.
we can do everything you can do.
Yeah, can you? All right. Here's another question: G Suite or Microsoft? If you know what I mean by that.
Microsoft, strictly for Excel.
Yeah, it has to be
Microsoft.
Microsoft. I'm an accountant. It has to be Microsoft.
Yep. All right. Savory or sweet?
Savory.
Savory.
Yeah, I think I'm more of a savory, but only because I'm lactose intolerant, and almost anything sweet is as dairy.
Dairy.
Oh, okay. I had to read this one. Okay, for your toilet paper, over or under?
Over. If you're under,
Over.
you're freaking
Over.
serial killer.
Yeah,
My
for
wife
real.
always does it under, and I have to switch it every
Really?
time.
My
Have
sister
you-
does it under, and she's mentally ill.
She doesn't even
Dan-
take like note of it.
It
She
must
just
be-
does it. I'm just like,
It must be people that have autism, because your wife and my sister definitely, they
Dan,
definitely
you're
have
the
that.
Dude, you're the patriarch of that family. You set that straight, man.
don't worry, I change. I'm sitting down and I'm like, what is this freaking
Yeah. You can't be
Ugh,
that passive with it
abomination.
though. You got to go tell her face
Yeah.
to
It
face.
throws
Like,
off my whole routine.
yeah.
Ugh.
That
All
can
right.
ruin a good poop for me. Yep.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
All right. Suburb or city?
Suburb.
Suburb.
Yeah.
All right. Inception or The Dark Knight?
Oh,
I
man.
hate you. Oh,
The
It's a
Dark
it's
good
gonna have
one
to
Knight
be
though,
The
for
right?
Dark
me.
Knight. It has
I
to be The
mean,
Dark
I
Knight.
feel like Heath Ledger's Joker is, like,
All-time
gotta be one of
performance.
the best all-time performances
I don't
ever.
think I don't know if we'll ever see a performance that good in my lifetime.
I
I
will
think it's a
say
once in a lifetime.
I'll say Inception just because like not only is like the music is great, the story is just so interesting. It's such a unique idea, but it's a really hard one because I love both of them. But
Yeah, I love both of them. Yeah. They're ones I rewatch often.
Mhm.
yeah,
I can go back and rewatch those a
They
lot.
hold up. Yeah, they both hold up super
I
well.
think it's respectively each director's best work.
I think they're the same director.
Did
Was it
Nolan do both
Christopher
of them?
Nolan on
Yeah,
both of them?
Nolan did both of them. Yeah, that's why I picked
Did
it.
Nolan do both
Really?
of them?
Yeah,
No,
Hmm.
I
I didn't know
watched
Nolan did
Tenant the
both of
other
'em.
day. Have you seen that one?
That one's funky. I don't know that I loved it.
I know it's weird. The subtitles really help, but maybe that's just because I'm old and I can't understand
I
what people
can't hear
say.
without my subtitles.
All right, fantasy or sci-fi? I'm going fantasy.
Hmm,
Fantasy.
probably fantasy.
Early bird or night owl?
Night
Night
Owl.
Owl.
Same.
Unless it's for golf or
Shower,
fishing.
shower or bath?
Shower.
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 Yeah.
If it's with my
Who's got time
wife, bath. Okay,
who's got
next.
time to take a bath, man?
Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
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 And when we're
Oh,
all on here doing a podcast.
I know that's what I was gonna say. All these introverts doing a podcast.
I showed my chest hair to the world too.
No, don't worry. We'll edit that out. Cut the video. Um. Oh, okay. There it is.
You can leave it in there.
Okay. K-pop Demon Hunters or Frozen?
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Kippy, you're gonna tell
I
me you
like
haven't seen
that.
it.
I have not seen it,
You suck.
but
You
I
It's
have seen
suck.
really
Frozen
good.
about 1,000,000 times and I'm done with it. I'm so over it.
You're like,
I thought I was gonna
screw
hate
this.
K-pop Demon Hunters. It
Oh, I
was
love it.
really good. Yeah, it was really good.
I could watch that today and love it just the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Napoleon Dynamite or Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Dude,
Oh,
Napoleon Dynamite 100%.
Napoleon for me as well. I actually watched that the other day and I forgot how much I loved it. I'm like,
It's
this is
it's
amazing. There's so many
it's
good
even funnier as an
one-liners.
adult, dude.
There's so
I
many
don't
good
know. Monty
one-liners.
Python and the Holy Grail, it has a pivotal it's an anchor moment of my life, so I'm gonna go with that. It's
Oh,
so
okay.
quotable. It's good.
Wait, do I have summer or winter here twice? I'm stupid. Okay, Halo or Call of Duty?
Ah,
Call of Duty for
Call of
me
Duty for
because
me.
I never played Halo that much.
I played a lot of
that's
Halo, but over the years, Call of Duty definitely.
The best gaming
it's
memories are from COD.
Yeah.
yeah, Call of Duty is when I like started falling in love with gaming. So that's probably that. I really like Halo though.
All
Back in the
right.
old days, like the number of times I played Halo, the original and two, like Halo 1 and 2. It's been a lot. Anyway,
Okay. Camaro or Mustang?
Mustang.
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 I'm biased though. My dad's always had Mustangs, so.
I just like Ford.
All right. Ketchup or fry sauce?
Fry
Fry
sauce.
sauce.
Fry sauce.
100%.
For all you viewers out there that don't know what fry sauce is, it's this glorious combination of a thing called ketchup and mayonnaise. Is it equal parts most of the time? Ketchup and mayonnaise?
Everyone has their own recipe.
Yeah.
Anyways, here in Utah, there are a ton of you can get fry sauce. I don't want to say at every place, but
Most
Most
burger places
places.
have it though.
yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yep.
you want to really spice it
Yeah.
up, do it with barbecue sauce and mayo. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Red Robin, their campfire sauce. That's pretty.
Oh, you
Red
know
Robin's a
what?
national chain. I think you can get campfire sauce.
I think that sauce is probably my favorite like fry sauce. Although
Yeah.
JCW's here does a pretty good.
Ooh, they do a
They
good
do
I
pretty
think
sauce.
good,
Crown
but you have to
Burger
order like
has.
separate.
I think
Dude,
Crown
Crown
Burger has
Burger's
the
fry
best fry
sauce.
sauce. It's so good.
We just went to Apollo Burger on Saturday and got their fries, and I just went for the fries and fry sauce.
So
The
Nice.
good.
burger's just a bonus.
All right, I have a couple
Yeah.
more.
Okay.
Russia or China? I don't know
What?
why I put this in here. Russia or China?
Probably China.
I'll say Russia.
Yeah, probably China. Here's the thing. I feel like I could take any person in China. The average Russian could probably destroy me.
Yeah, dude. I'm
Gosh.
way more scared of Russians.
I'm a head taller than at
Maybe that's
least
why I picked Russia. So
90%
I
of the
could.
Chinese population.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting at the same height as him. Halloween or Christmas?
Christmas.
I really like Christmas. I love Halloween
Halloween.
though. I do love
Kylie
Halloween.
loves Halloween, so I do more for Halloween. So, all right, comedy or action?
Can you blend them into an action comedy?
Eh,
Action, probably.
I say comedy.
I'd say comedy.
I only say comedy maybe because I feel like comedy is a dying breed of like movie genre. So
Yeah, I feel old saying this, but they definitely don't make them like they used to.
they don't.
Yeah.
We watch. Have you ever seen Benchwarmers?
That's
Yes.
one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
Dude.
we just watched that last night with uh, Jackson and
Yeah.
Gina because they had never seen it before.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
hilarious,
core
so good.
childhood
I love
movie.
that movie.
I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
seen that
great.
one in a long time.
David Spade. Oh my gosh, he's
He's
so
so
good in that
funny,
movie.
dude.
He's so funny in that
Yeah.
movie.
That
Yeah,
that
I
whole
love that one.
cast is really good.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, Abraham Lincoln or George Washington?
Okay.
Well, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Are we going off of achievements or
It's
Well, he
whatever
wouldn't have been
comes to
able to.
mind.
He wouldn't have been able to free the slaves without. Oh yeah, just peek your head in here, weirdo.
hi?
We'll cut that out.
um, he wouldn't have been able to free the slaves without George Washington. So, just saying.
I don't know who I pick here. I don't know. They're both. I'll say George Washington just because he was at the beginning. The foundation of America.
Old George, man.
Yeah.
I'll go George.
He had a full set of wooden and donkey teeth. Did you know that?
Donkey teeth, huh?
He lost all his real teeth, so they were wooden and pieced out and shaped from donkey teeth. Guess you're
Aren't
wondering?
donkey teeth huge?
Yeah, they like shape them down,
Okay. It's like, man, they just threw
as
like
far as I
3 donkey
understand.
teeth in his mouth.
Yeah.
He like
Yeah.
can't even. He's like a saber-toothed man. He like can't even close
Yeah.
his mouth. All right, blonde
Sorry
or
to keep
brunette?
off. Brunette.
Brunette.
Blonde.
My wife's
Okay.
brunette. So, oh,
My
your wife
wife's a
is not a
brunette too.
blonde either.
She's gonna hate
I'm
me for
telling
that.
her. I'm gonna tell her you're in so much
She already
trouble.
knows. She just makes fun of me anyway. She's like, "Of course you like her. She's a blonde or whatever." All right. Oh, this is a surprise last one. I forgot about this. But this is not an either or, but who was your first celebrity crush?
Well, you see, young Michael was watching Transformers with Shia LaBeouf and
Oh,
Megan
Also, Shia
Fox.
LaBeouf was your Okay, just kidding.
No, and then Megan Fox was driving that old Camaro, and that's when I knew I liked girls. Yeah.
hmm.
Do you want to guess what mine is?
Um, hmm.
Probably like Ariel or something.
Nah, it's Britney Spears.
Dude, that's mine too, actually.
Oh, let's go.
Yep. How did you come to be crushing on Britney?
I don't know. Just it's obviously like like Britney at like the very early stages of her career, not like towards the end or whatever
When
You
she
mean
she's
you're not
going
shaved her
through.
head,
into
you went
you're not
wild.
in coke you're not into coked out Britney?
Not really. Maybe like 5 years ago would have been, but no, I'm just kidding.
I have
All
this
right.
vivid memory. This is a key piece of Kippy lore, by the way.
Oh, let's hear
So
it.
as a kid, I always wanted to be a drummer because my dad was a drummer, and I would make pretend drum sets in my room. So I had like my Hot Wheels box that was like my main drum, and then I had like pots and pans for all the other drums, and I needed an audience. So I would go get my sister's CDs that had people on the front of them. And the one CD I remember was the Britney Spears album, like her
Oh,
first album, and I would put that one
nice.
like front and center. And so I was always crushing on Britney, showing off
Oh,
for her, ripping
Showing
on
off
my
your
drum
drum
set.
skills,
Yep,
ripping on the drums.
we used to listen to
Love
a
it.
lot of Britney Spears in the car with my mom, and so I think that's where it came from.
it's Britney, bitch.
Yeah. It's
All
not even
right,
a Britney Spears song playing.
that's what makes it so funny.
Yeah, it's so good. Anyway.
All right, I think yeah, that's all I had. What'd you think? Was it a pretty good one?
That was
Yeah, that
fun.
was good.
Was it pretty
I
good?
like that.
Maybe I think should we
Yeah.
post that? Can we post that in the show notes? People can put their answers or something like what they like.
Yeah, we could.
On the Discord, you can do that for sure.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Pin it.
There you go. You have to join the
Yeah, pin it on the
Discord, and
Discord.
we'll put it in there. And if you wanna
Yeah,
comment and say what you like, let's do it. Look
love
at
it.
Michael. What a guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump in. I think Michael, you're
All right.
first, right?
Yeah, cool. All
Hit
right.
me up.
All right. So, Air America. So, both of the topics that Kippy and I had picked is kind of like conspiracies that surround the CIA. And I think there have been some that you've done on this podcast before. You've done like MK Ultra, and there are a lot of ones that people have heard about. I don't know how many people will have heard about Air America necessarily. I think it might be a little bit lesser known.
I know I haven't
Um,
heard of it, so
yeah. So I think it's just kind of worth mentioning, like, how the CIA sort of began before, because there are so many conspiracies about the CIA. So when I was like researching this, I was like, why? Why are there like so many people interested in what the CIA does? So there are a lot of things that sort of reshaped um, all sorts of industries in America during World War II. You know, it was the first time the world experienced a war on an industrial scale, right? So the way that America won the war is because we could build tanks and airplanes faster than the Japanese or Germans could destroy them. They weren't
hmm
necessarily the best or the strongest, but it reshaped the way that we fight wars. It reshaped the way that I think companies do business. It reshaped like geopolitics, and it reshaped the intelligence community too, because on such a large battlefield, and there's been large battlefields before, but is interesting to me, you have like the Germans and the Japanese and the Russians and the Americans all at home trying to devise new weapons and weaponry. You have like teams of scientists trying to create, weapons of mass destruction essentially, and every country wants to try and figure out what the other one's doing. And
yeah,
that kind of intelligence has existed before, right? Like
yeah, for
you're
sure.
always trying to figure out, you're trying to intercept your enemy's communications. So, but it became different in World War II, as it really truly was like a world war, and our communication systems were different from even World War One. Getting to an age where news travels around the globe much more quickly than it really has before. And so,
Yeah, that makes sense.
the intelligence community has become a critical role. It's how can we, one, figure out what the enemy is doing, and two, do counterintelligence of our own. So we want to identify when they're spying on us and then put up a lie so they think we're doing something that we're actually not. And so there's a lot of interesting things that happened during the time. Like there were whole cities in America that were, uh, well, I say whole cities, but they're critical industrial towns that were um, basically camouflaged. I didn't don't know if you know that, but it was to hide against potential
Like how
um, and
so?
it's really interesting. There are some states, I believe, like in Alabama and stuff, where big auto manufacturers were, and they converted them to like tank factories. But you basically see telephone poles, and you'll see city streets draped with like camouflage netting, basically.
Oh
So it
wow,
looks
really?
from the air. So it looks from the air like it's a field, but
Mm-hmm.
really underneath is this huge industrial operation. So there's a lot of stuff like that that sort of began at the time, and in the Department of War at the time, you have an intelligence apparatus, uh, and that's the CIA didn't exist during World War II, and so after
Yeah,
World War
yeah.
II, a lot of things change, and that intelligence apparatus it's moved out from underneath the Department of War and becomes its own department, becomes the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency.
Wasn't
And
it like a lot of the intelligence that was going on was happening within each like department? It's like the Navy had intelligence, like the Army had intelligence, like it was kind of like
yeah,
separated out. But then after World War II that they're like, hey, let's
yeah, so
centralize the
one of the selling
yeah.
points for his name is, I can't remember his first name, last name's Dulles. The international airport's named after him.
Alan Dulles.
Yeah, he was one who was able to use that argument to convince um, the leaders at the time that it needed to be a central intelligence network, so
Yeah.
Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. So that was one of the arguments he used to move it out from underneath the Department of War into its own agency, so
Because I
that the
imagine they
intelligence would
probably
be
weren't
centralized.
sharing information with each other that much at that
Yeah,
time.
well, I mean, you have um,
Which always baffles me that we're like, hey, we're on the same team. Like, why aren't we like trying
yeah,
to do it together, you know?
yeah, I think that it's hard to know how it's hard to know if that is necessarily true. I have a hard
Yeah,
time
yeah.
believing that they weren't like communicating, but it is definitely one of the best arguments for
To bring
people
it together.
who
Yeah.
wanted uh who wanted the army intelligence or Department of War intelligence out from underneath that department. But doing that kind of opened up the opportunity um for more clandestine operations that weren't subject to like Senate oversight committees
Oh, really?
and stuff like that. So yeah, so Alan Dulles, it gets all really complicated, but essentially, you know, the CIA now its own department, you can have black ops and not really have to answer to anybody.
Seems kind of
It's
scary.
easier for you to run completely off the books operations and have like basically no oversight on what you're doing. And so, we go a few years down the road, we're in the Cold War, everyone is utterly terrified of the Russians and terrified of like the communist coalition. So America is watching like a hawk the communist revolution in China. They see how successful Mao is in overcoming uh, nationalist opposition in China. And around the same time, this is when we start to tie into Air America. Before it's called Air America, you have, uh, let me find his name. You have this guy. He is named, it's some French name, but he is an American dude. I can't find his name. Anyway, uh, Chanot. It's gonna bug me if I don't find it.
You're good. We've attempted to pronounce many a French name and sounded real stupid, so
Sounded real perfect, you mean.
yes,
Yeah,
definitely what I meant.
it's really gonna bug me if I can't find it. I think I have it written down over here. Hang on. Yeah, so Claire Lee, I believe you say it Chino. Anyway, he spent his years during the war um, in China and in Asia, but he wasn't necessarily part of a branch of our military. Uh, they he was a pilot for a long time, and he ran like transportation services in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the war, there was a group of Chinese nationalists that he led who were backed by the US military and given US military equipment uh, to then like help them fight in that region.
Oh, okay.
And the group that he kind of led, I believe were called the Tigers or something like that. So anyway, he did that during the war, and then after the war, uh, he kind of continued his time in Asia, and he started a private company called Civil Air Transportation, and it was all like super normal stuff. He ran a lot of like regular transportation stuff, but he also had close ties to Chinese nationalists, the people who oppose communism.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so as, the communist revolution kind of takes hold in China, he's really like helping out the Chinese nationalists move equipment and like personnel and supplies and stuff like that is the main kind of like sourcing of jobs and of money for his
Yeah.
company. And there are some sources that will say that the U.S. did back, like financially back and help those operations at the time, because nobody wants the influence of the Soviet Union at the time to expand. And if
Yeah.
Chinese communists get in power, then they're going to have another, you know, ally in the area, and everyone's terrified of that. So, but as the time goes on, obviously we know the communist revolution is successful in China, and now everybody kind of knows that the Civil Air Transport Company were very favorite to the nationalists, and
Yeah.
so
Exactly. Yeah.
nobody really wants to do business with him anymore. So he has this company, doesn't know what to do with it. Uh, and then at the same time, this is around 1950, the CIA has always sort of kept an eye on this company, from my understanding, and then they see an opportunity where they can buy a legit business that is a transport business that has some like assets as far as planes and stuff like that already.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
see an opportunity, and so this isn't conspiracy either. It's stuff that in documents that have been declassified. They actually buy Civil Air Transportation, and it eventually becomes what's called Air America. And so as the years go on, Air America, they do keep it running like a normal company, a transportation company. It's all normal. Lots of people work for Air America. There are lots of videos of people who have worked for Air America that have done interviews on YouTube that you can go watch. And like most people have done like perfectly normal things for Air America.
Right.
So, and then if you
Because
sort of
otherwise
fast forward,
it would look like weird, right? You couldn't
yeah,
just immediately start
yeah.
doing whatever you're about to tell us about.
Yeah. So if you're an intelligence apparatus, and you're trying to run a clandestine operation or something, you want something that looks totally normal, and then
Yeah.
you want
Or
to
else
be
it
able
wouldn't
to,
work.
yeah, it wouldn't work. So, as we get more into uh, the Vietnam era, a lot of these wars that happened during the time, like the Korean War and the Vietnam War, they're all sort of like proxy wars. It's America not wanting the Soviet Union to expand their influence.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll back, you know, any
Whoever's
nationalist or
fighting
capital
against it,
group.
right?
Yeah, but they don't want to full out declare war in fear that the Russians will full on declare war, and
And
then
that's a
you
much
have
bigger
another,
problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you have a global conflict. So the idea is that, okay, we need a way to be able to run operations but have like plausible deniability. So we need to be able to insert our people, but they can't like trace back to us in any way. And so Air America offers like a really good opportunity for that. So, you know, Vietnam, it's a 10-year, it's a decade long war, right? And so throughout, like the 1960s, as we're fighting in Vietnam, America wants to be able to do black ops to hurt the Viet Cong.
Mm-hmm.
And so they start running operations with like special forces units that strip themselves of like American military identification. And then they go into like Laos, in a country that we haven't declared war on. And technically, we're not supposed to do that. It's like not something you're supposed to do. Go into a country you're declaring war with, organize an operation, and then go. And they'd use it as like there's like rugged air bases or like quick air bases that are made all over Laos.
Mm-hmm.
We'd fly into, set up a unit, and then they'd fly in helicopters, run an operation, doing whatever to the Viet Cong, and then come back. And so throughout the time, Air America plays a critical role in a lot of those operations. The official sort of narrative is, because it's been declassified now, that yeah, okay, we had special forces units doing that. We had them in Laos,
Mm-hmm.
had them running ops back into Vietnam, and in Thailand, etc. It's like, oh, okay, well, Air America was the main transport unit. It was a transport company in Southeast Asia at the time, so we could throw, special operations units on these planes. We could put equipment on there,
Yeah.
etc. And nobody theoretically would know. Like it would look perfectly normal, perfectly reasonable, or the enemy really wouldn't question it. Uh, so where things start to get hazy is like when you start thinking about, okay, if we want plausible deniability, how far do we take it? Like, not only do we need plausible, or do they want plausible deniability, if like the Viet Cong or Soviet Union ever called you out on running those kinds of ops,
Mm-hmm.
but it sort of morphs into needing plausible deniability from like our own government.
Like
Like if,
accountability from our government.
yeah, like to avoid accountability from the
Right.
government.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, if we're doing something really bad, we don't want to have a credit on our accounting books, for $5 million for this operation, because
Yeah.
we don't want to go before a Senate committee and have to explain why we spent that money. So uh, the the question is, how far did it go? And some of the accusations get pretty serious about what the CIA used Air America for.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's well known that the military and the CIA uh, became like operational friends with this guy who had a lot of influence in Laos. Uh, and he was like a major drug runner in
Oh.
that area. So another important thing to know is like Thailand, Laos, Burma, like that area is called the Golden Triangle, and a ton of um, heroin is grown there and
Didn't I
made.
learn that in Tropic Thunder that we watched the other day?
Yeah, yeah. So a big part of, and a very interesting like side note to that is tons of Vietnam vets got hooked on heroin when they were fighting there.
Hmm.
So there are like some accusations.
Super
Okay, well,
sad.
yeah. So anyway, we know the CIA had a relationship with this guy. He controlled a lot of like the opium fields, a lot of that territory, a lot of the drug running, and the accusations are there of, was the CIA like just complicit in like drug running operations? Were they like active participants, or maybe just
Oh,
turned like a blind
jeez.
or turned like a blind eye to operators? Like I think we've all seen movies like, like Jason Bourne and like the Bourne Identity and stuff like that, where you have, and it's hard to know exactly what's true, but the theory is like, okay, do we have a CIA asset who we have given a mission, but they have to like figure out how to fund it and how to complete it. So it's like, did they participate in running drugs to get funding to then run like this operation, or did
Oh.
they like participate in running drugs to gain favor with this guy so he would do stuff for them, or
Oh,
are
interesting.
those people just like particular bad actors that are in the CIA and they didn't necessarily condone any of that? And that's where the plausible deniability
Oh,
comes in,
okay.
right? Because
That's where we
they've
don't know
set
what's
this up.
true.
Yeah, that's where they set this up and like, yeah, well, Bob, don't know. Like, there's nothing official that we have. Like, obviously, we don't condone, you know, the trafficking of heroin. It's like, okay, yeah, you
So
don't condone it, but did you do anything like, did you do
to
anything to
stop
stop it?
it.
Should you have done anything to stop it? Um, and then so there's some other interesting things that tie in at the same time. Uh, if you may remember, uh, President Nixon was elected during the Vietnam War, and he started his big campaign and declared war on drugs.
Hmm.
There's like the drug epidemic at the time, and so it there's a lot of theories and interesting things out there. How much maybe was that trying to create interest to maybe increase demand in that sort of trade to flow more
Hmm.
money into CIA operations? Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
I would have
uh,
never put those two
yeah,
together,
and
but
so and
go ahead.
there have been other accusations, right, by the CIA that they have been uh, like done experiments on people with like the use of drugs and trafficking. So it's not like unreasonable in my mind that maybe
Like they've
that could
definitely
be a
done
reason.
shady things in the past. Like why not
Yeah,
this too? Yeah.
yeah. So it's really interesting. Uh, I watched several interviews of people who were pilots for Air America, and it's so interesting to me the way that the intelligence community is structured. All of the information is decentralized and like fractured. So if you're a pilot for
Oh.
Air America, your only job is to fly the plane and land where you're told. You're not like inspecting cargo. You're not getting out of the plane and like seeing what's going on. It's like they isolate like individuals again to create sort of these knowledge gaps where there's plausible deniability. So
Oh
nobody
yeah,
can
that
really
way
gather.
you can control the story at that point, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. It should be noted though that Air America and many of the pilots who worked for them, they did do a lot of good during that time, and a lot of CIA agents were credited with saving tons of lives. Because at the same time during the Vietnam War, sort of the same thing was happening over in Laos, and Air
Hmm.
America was used to evacuate uh, people who weren't part of the communist movement who who opposed them and who were being killed. So there are people being killed. They were trying to flee, and Air America
Right.
played a critical role in evacuating thousands of people uh, from that area. There's like I'm just scanning through tons of instances where um, those planes were used to help people, and it can be reasonably understood that they played a critical role, and it was important to have that sort of arm of the CIA because they were used in important like resupplying and critical missions that saved American military lives through those black operations. But the question in my mind is like when you create a network that is a clandestine network, like everything's supposed to be off the books. We specialize in intelligence, we specialize in counterintelligence.
Right.
So how far like if you let the leash go so far, where does it stop? You know,
Yeah,
it's kind of
that's a good question. I don't know, Kippy, what
yeah.
are your thoughts about this?
Um, I think the CIA operates in the gray a lot.
That's kind of what I was
And
thinking, cause like it sounds like there was good things that probably did come of it, but maybe they used the good things to help justify the bad things too.
well, I think that's yeah, I think they generally do a lot of good, like for real. But I also think they use that probably to justify the bad. Like it's a means
Then
to an end, right? Like
yeah,
the
that's
bad
my thoughts
allows them
exactly.
to then go forward and do the good.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, you hear so many of these conspiracies of like the CIA releasing crack cocaine to the inner cities and starting drug trafficking in the US and doing that too.
Yeah.
So I just
That's
think,
wild to me. I don't know much about that. Maybe that's something we cover later, but that
mhm.
concept is wild.
Well,
Yeah.
there's that. You talked about MK Ultra a little bit and how the CIA was testing like actively dosing people with LSD, and that's not even a
Yep.
conspiracy, it's documented.
Documented fact,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of weird and like the topic I'll get into too is documented, but there's a lot of weird gray area there that I feel like especially around this time where the CIA was so new and it wasn't as regulated even as it is today, had more ability to operate within the gray.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I could see that.
Well, and it's interesting it's interesting you say that something the listeners might be interested in. There's a guy on Twitter, former CIA, his name's Mike Benz. Uh as US aid has been getting dismantled, a lot of things have been uncovered and been seeing connections between these non-government organizations and how they have relationships with the CIA, and how money has been funneled out of our government into like CIA operations. He does a lot of like really in-depth, like good work, like
Oh,
good stuff.
jeez.
There's one on X called the Data Republican. She does the same thing, uh, like these in-depth dives. So it's not unreasonable for me to think that okay, is it necessarily like the collusion of the whole organization? Maybe, maybe not. I think it's probably more likely that if you create an organization like this, where you have an opportunity to do a lot of good things, but you need them to be a secret, it gives the opportunity for people who are really terrible people to like interject, and you have to end up working with those people.
And
And
the
it's
door's
the same
wide
thing.
open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same
No
thing
fear being
when
caught, really.
yeah, it's the same thing when we uh after 9/11, you know, when we went into Afghanistan, uh it was basically the CIA paying a bunch of different warlords and paying them to try and like buying their cooperation. We were just going and like dropping bags of cash with these different warlords who all wanted to fight each other, but they all had a common enemy in Al Qaeda. So it was like dropping off bags of cash at the door. So like, you know, the opportunity to do good things, but like how like it can go really far if you need to run things Black Ops off the books, then how far does that go? Do we need to do people need to commit crimes to get the funding so it's completely off the books?
Oh, that's
Or is
so
it just or does it just open up an opportunity for corruption? There's
yeah.
lots of I think a lot of the times, at least me, I think I've had rose-colored glasses about, oh, corruption is like a problem in other countries. It's
That's
definitely not. The DEA, ATF, FBI, like all of our bureaucracy, plenty of people being paid to, sell secrets, uh, to do stuff that would, damage the reputation of America. So yeah, it's very
if you had to
interesting.
summarize the Air America piece, is it just that like there was this transportation company that existed, real guy owned it. It was kind of going downhill because of the war that was happening.
It went belly up because the communists won in China because
And
Mao
s-
took over.
and so
Yeah.
then the CIA is like, "Hey, we can take this company and buy it and use it to do operations in Vietnam, right?"
Not even necessarily. I mean, the timing is so like 1950. I don't remember the year the Vietnam War started. It was like
I don't know.
1960 something, wasn't
I
it?
think it was 55. It was like 55 to 70 something. So the war itself was really long, but the US was only involved for like 10 years of that.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. Yeah, and that tracks because 1955 is when they actually changed the name to Air America.
Gotcha.
Yes, but the CIA had ownership of the company in 1950. So yeah, I
Gotcha.
think they saw it. I think they saw it in 1950 as an opportunity to, oh hey, why don't we just pick this up and maybe it will become useful later in the
And so
South
there's like,
Pacific.
and then they ended up doing all these operations. And is the conspiracy part about, or the controversy around it, just that they might have helped move some drugs and possibly
Yeah, it's
made
not even
money?
my of there. It's not even my of. There's people who, and again, like, what do you say? Do you say they claim to work for Air America, or is it people who did work for Air America that have been whistleblowers that have said yes, the CIA was complicit in trafficking drugs? Um, then again, you're just putting the word of a couple people against the CIA. So
Oh,
yeah, but the conspiracy is that uh, the CIA was complicit in trafficking heroin, and
holy
a lot of
cow.
things tie into it. They did that to fund what they would call critical missions, right? So they didn't use taxpayer dollars to do stuff that was blatantly illegal. So they did something blatantly illegal to pay for other illegal stuff that they needed to do.
Holy cow. It's
Yeah.
such a gray area. Like,
Yeah.
oh
They
my
operate it's just like
gosh.
perfectly what Kibby said, like it's definitely not a black and white. It is they operate in the murkiness. And it's on purpose too, because the
Yeah.
whole idea and like inception of the CIA is we need an organization that gives us plausible deniability so that if the Russians catch us doing something, we can say, what are you talking about?
I
That
don't know those
totally wasn't us.
people. That
Yeah.
wasn't us. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. But that ties into so many things. It's just interesting to see. And I talked to my dad in preparation for this. He, um, was a teenager, well, a little bit younger than the teenager because he missed the draft. But I was just asking him about like American sentiment about the war during the time, and you
Mm-hmm.
begin to understand why Vietnam was so opposed, especially toward the end. Um, just like seeing, these young men come home addicted to heroin, and
Oh,
so many lives lost, and uh, yeah, and so it's at that point, it's like, oh, the heroin already exists in that region, so soldiers get addicted as they come across it. It's like, was the CIA complicit, see an opportunity to traffic that back home? to fund other operations. So
Oh,
and they're like and they're blamed for a lot of like really horrible things, and not even blamed. There's some like there's solid proof. So it's like it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that uh, they participated in that.
are you
So
saying like
just
they've been blamed for other operations or
yeah, I
other
mean,
things?
we
Oh,
talked about
okay.
like MK Ultra
Right.
and
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Just
yeah,
want
and
to make
stuff like
sure.
that, and even yeah, and stuff like that, and uh, and there's been other ones that they've been accused of, but hasn't been as much proof, you know, like like uh, like MK Ultra and other stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
That doesn't
that's
make
Air
me
America.
happy. I'll say
But
this,
yeah,
like I live in that bubble. My rose-colored glasses are on, but the more I do this podcast and the more I learn about what's happened, like actually happened, I am just like, oh man. Like I love America. I will choose America first always,
yeah.
but I do not in those moments I'm like, oh, that does not
What
make me proud to be an
really
American. You know what I mean? Like that makes me so sad.
what really upsets me is like the power of American bureaucracy. Unelected officials that can operate in the dark and have like little to no accountability. And it's a really hard line to walk because sometimes that's important. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you need to run operations off the books to figure out who's, trying to develop a nuclear weapon. And you don't want to have to admit that in front of a Senate hearing, because then it's kind of important to have that that as secret.
Oh,
But that just opens up the door to a lot of like really awful stuff that can happen. So it's like a very much like a gray area as far as its necessity. But I personally think that the American bureaucracy has gotten way too bloated.
mhm.
Way too much power. Way too much power. So
I think the reason the CIA is still able to operate in that gray so well is because it's been that way for so long, and these systems and like their way of working has gotten so complex that nobody's ever going to be able to stop that now. It's just a
yeah,
train that's keeping going, and like if you try to stop it, there's too much like that could fall, and that is resting
yeah,
on like keeping those secrets now. That it's just
You're juggling
it's
all these balls, right? And like you
yeah.
got to keep juggling or else they're gonna
it's a
fall
yeah, it's
And
a giant web of yeah.
of lies.
you begin to learn that when you start like studying that era, you start to learn about like how many things start to connect to each other. How many things come back and connect to the Kennedys during that era, um, and like the influence that they had in that time. Uh, a lot of like these global efforts. We hear a lot of the words like regime change, nowadays, and you can see why. Like if you just kind of try and put your mind back in it. That's why I talked to my dad. I was like, how afraid were people about the Soviet Union? The Soviet Union was insanely powerful.
Mhm.
The
I mean, they're
threat of like
massive.
the threat of total destruction was like always just right there. And
That's
so, yeah,
scary.
if I were in charge, I would be absolutely terrified to see the Soviet Union funding the Viet Cong and sending them tanks and planes, and yeah, I would be crapping myself. It'd be
Yeah.
terrifying. You don't want them to have yet another sphere of influence,
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah.
expanding their territory type of thing. So you can see like where that starts, and then you can see the opportunity of bad actors to come in and take advantage of people's fear. So kind of interesting.
Thanks for
Well, that
sharing, man. That's really interesting. Go ahead,
But yeah,
Kippy.
oh no, I was just gonna say that the like you said, that whole era is so well interconnected, and the Kennedys I feel like are a
yep,
pretty central part of that. But I feel like one of the most interesting things about this time period is this is the time when America really started to show like the first cracks in the foundation, I feel like. because like World War I, World War II, we came out of World War II victorious. We were like the superpower at that time, undisputed champions of the
Yeah.
world, and um, but we were the power at that time, and we
Mm-hmm.
weren't really rivaled by anybody until the Soviet Union started to rise up. But I feel like the 40s, end of the 40s after the war was a really good time. The 50s is a pretty good time, but then late 50s, early 60s, this Cold War starts. The Kennedys get into office, and all these things start happening that kind of start showing like, oh, America's like a little bit of a mess right now.
Yeah.
And it's just this crazy
We're
time where I
still
feel
a
like,
mess.
right, but I feel like that's where the first seeds of like distrust in the government started to be sown, like really sown deep. I'm sure
Yeah.
there was always some level of that, but I feel like
Yeah.
the country was really well banded together throughout World War II, and then you had the Korean War. But this is a time where, after the Korean War and World War II, and Vietnam, like we're so sick of war at this point. The general population's like, we're done with war. Like, can we
Oh
just
yeah.
be like done with it? Like, we're
I
the
think
world
more
superpower.
particularly thinking like after the 4-year mark, it's like, okay, World War II, we went and whooped 2 butts in 4 years.
And
And
yeah, it
we're just
wasn't even
gonna
our
like
war, and we just like
we're just
jumped in and
we're just
won.
touching butts in Vietnam, like not doing anything. Like there's no like we bomb the Viet Cong at the same time every day and they go in and hide in their tunnels. Like we weren't fighting to win. And I think that's what a lot of people got upset about too. And there was like a cultural revolution of, peace and love hippies, but the people who, maybe more so understood the importance of like maybe that war played as like a proxy war, even though we had boots on the ground. There was a point where I think people really started to realize we weren't playing to win. We were playing with both of our hands tied behind our back.
Hmm.
You know.
Oh,
Well, and that's the point. I mean, like the Korean War II and World War II to an extent, but after World War II is when Dwight D. Eisenhower comes out and warns of the military-industrial complex and how
yep.
these wars are generated as basically a money-making machine. And I feel
Yep.
like the Vietnam War, the Korean War too, but the Vietnam War, you can definitely see how that one was justified in that way of just wanting to be a machine to make money. And
Yeah. Print money. Yep.
mhm,
Yeah. And then you start to figure out like how much money eventually makes it back to elected officials who are part of the military industrial complex. You know, those warmongering neocons, it's a real thing. People who like war because they make a lot of money from it.
and it's still
Isn't
going
that
on
what Dick
today.
Cheney was accused of?
Oh, hardcore. Yeah. He's
He just
one of the
passed
worst
away. I mean,
victims of it.
respect
Yeah.
to him, but I mean, I
Yeah.
know very little about that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, but that is one thing that I have heard was that.
Yeah. You get a lot of people, I don't want to get too political, but a lot of people who oppose like Trump and his administration today are the ones that are neocon warmongers, people who like forever war on the Republican
Interesting.
side. Because that's been traditionally like a Republican thing. You end up seeing a lot of neocon types on the Republican side of the aisle.
Interesting. I
So
didn't know that.
yeah, kind of
You're much
interesting.
smarter
Yeah,
than me, much more informed. I know
I don't know. I
nothing.
just I hit 28 and decided that I liked history. So
Once you
I
get
like
old,
history too.
you you go down the vein of
yeah.
history or smoking delicious meats, and
Yeah.
somehow I ended up in both of those. But
I also don't think people give enough,
I've done none
especially
of
people
those.
my age. I don't think people give enough credit to like the people who lived through that era. My dad was born in 1958, and the number of like world-changing events that he's lived through, like the
Yeah,
number is just crazy.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
all the stuff that he's experienced. It's one guy in Utah of all places, but like
yeah.
it's cool now that I'm more interested in like what was happening in those eras, and like I talked to him about um like cultural revolution at the time, like what kind of music were people listening to, and
Yeah.
like and stuff like that. I don't think people listen enough um
They're elders.
to the people who raised us. Listen to our elders. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, segueing into another conspiracy from that era that
Let's hear it. I'm
this one
excited.
is I mean, we could do an episode or two on this one because I cherry picked a few things from it, but so at this time, Michael kind of set the scene well with communism is taking over, right? The Soviet Union is gaining power. They're kind of setting up these, like you said, kind of regimes around the world. And China's going communist. Cuba is also going communist. Um, and the US is very scared of that, of communism rising and gaining popularity. And Kennedy was quoted as saying, like, the rise of communism in the West, like, it can't continue. It can't be a thing. Like, we have to squash it. And
Can I
so
stop
at
you
this
really quick?
time,
I'm sorry.
yeah, you're
I
good.
know I know the general idea of communism, but like why did we see it as so much of a threat? You know what I mean? Like I understand like yeah, if you want to choose your government to be that way and rule your people in that way, like that's fine, but was there all is it because like did communism also equal like you're an enemy to like our way of life? Like I don't know
Uh,
if you can
I
maybe I'm
think it was
just dumb, but
propagandized that way, but like if you actually like I think more so American leadership didn't want the Soviet Union to have any more allies or any more territory. Because at the time, if there's a communist revolution, Soviet Union is bankrolling you. So
mm,
you're gonna owe major favors uh, to the Soviet Union, and it's in every case. North Korea is North Korea because of the Soviet Union. Mao only succeeded because of the Soviet Union. Like they're the only ones that you know and then even still during all of those revolutions, millions of their own people starved to death because
oh
of it, because they tried to industrialize and um, move production centers or centers of production underneath the government,
yeah,
government controlled. So
right.
the government takes away all private land, and then somebody in Beijing tells you what you have to plant in your field in East China. And if it's not and most times it's not the right thing, so you don't grow the right thing, and there's not enough food to eat, and a bunch of people die. So, but I think the main fear is the expansion of Soviet influence, because by that time the Soviet Union had been through their industrial revolution and their economy is cranking. You know,
Mhm.
it's a spending race. Can America or Soviet Union spend more money on you know making weapons, increasing their nuclear arsenal,
Mind
and
control.
Getting to
we don't
space.
want them to get any closer in proximity to America,
Yeah.
you know, or
It
expand
was
their
like
influence.
it's like schoolyard competition almost between the US and the Soviet Union to like a ridiculous degree where the US was like that's like one of the big reasons of why people think we faked the moon landing was to get there before the Soviet Union did, but we couldn't
Yeah,
actually do it. So we had to fake it just to say that we did before the Soviet Union did, you know? So, yeah, I think it was this fear because the Soviet Union was propping up these communist governments in countries all around the world and they were gaining the favor of a lot of people. And communism, it looks really appealing on paper, but the US had just won a world war as a capitalist country as well.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
were booming as a capitalist country, and communism is like the antithesis of capitalism.
Right.
And
yeah,
so not only is it this rise of power by the Soviets, but it's like our entire way of life in the US was under threat as well. And I think the government was probably scared of that communist ideology gaining popularity in America and tearing that down as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
That's
So
a good point.
That
There's
makes
not
a lot
enough
of
to be said
sense.
about that ideology. Yeah.
so at
Thank
this
you.
time, at this time, so tensions are high with Cuba because Cuba, Fidel Castro had just taken over from the old dictator. I don't remember his name, but Fidel Castro had basically come in, and initially he wasn't super communist. He was kind of like, hey, this dictator that we have right now, he's like not doing good things. Like, I have to revolt. And so he was kind of like, if you hear it from his side, like he was basically forced into the position he was to take power to take down the dictator that was there before. And then
A
after
convenient
that
story.
kind of gained these like communist ideals and was beginning to get propped up by the Soviet Union, which I'd never really heard it from that perspective before. I don't know, yeah, how convenient that is, but
Yeah.
so he takes over, and the Soviet Union's then kind of dealing with Cuba at this point, which is about 100 miles off the coast of the US, so it's close. And at this
It's
point, it's
really
getting real for
close.
the US. Like, dang, Russia could be placing stuff in Cuba. Like,
Like
that's where you get into the
at our
Cuban Missile
door.
Crisis and things like
Yeah.
that. Like, they're right
Yeah.
there. We could be putting nukes in Cuba.
That is
Um,
scary. That is so scary.
so
Yeah, because
there
at the
is,
time, it's important to know that they didn't have the, you know, transatlantic
Right.
supersonic missiles that exist today. Where you
mm,
can hit a target from anywhere or anywhere in the world from one place. So anyway,
yeah. And that was like the closest we ever got to a real nuclear war during the Cold War was when Russia was like starting to put stuff into Cuba because it became that
yeah,
much closer and that much more realistic. So at this time, the government, Kennedy's in power, and he's like, we have to squash Cuba any way we can. So his brother, Bobby Kennedy, who was I don't remember what his title within the government was, chief justice, or I don't remember. But his brother Bobby, he goes to Bobby. He's like, we gotta squash this. And so they come up with this operation called Operation Mongoose. And Operation Mongoose is this plan, all of these things that the United States planned to basically frame Cuba for, to gain favor from the American public to go to war with Cuba. Because at this time, again, we'd just come out of World War II and the Korean War, and I think the Vietnam War was going on at this time as well. We had soldiers there. People are
Hmm.
sick of it, and so we're trying to gain favor to go to this other war in Cuba and tear down communist regime and basically install a democracy. So
another regime
Operation
change.
oh, what was that? Sorry.
No, sorry, I was just saying another regime change.
Hmm, right. And so Operation Mongoose is this larger operation of all these different plans to it was launched in late 1961 and to kind of destabilize and overthrow Castro. So within there were all these assassination attempts on Castro as well, which if you look into that, that's crazy in and of itself because there were some reports have like 652
Oh,
documented assassination attempts on Fidel Castro, and he lived
wow.
through all.
Crazy.
But this is where
Freaking
you hear of those
cockroach.
wild gadgets like the exploding cigar and like the heart attack gun, like all these weird gadgets to try and kill Castro. Um, and so he's rising to power, and there is this very strong idea that they had some crazy ideas. So some of the ideas in Operation Mongoose, there was a base in Cuba, like a military base, Cuban military base, and one of the plans was to drop like 100,000 of this certain species of snake that was super loud. And they thought that if they dropped enough of these snakes near this military base, that the Cubans would start firing and launching shells because the snakes were loud enough that they would think that we were attacking them. And
Oh.
so their plan was to basically fake this attack on this military base so that the Cubans would fire first, and then that would give us justification to go in and bomb them. And like that was the act of war, right? So there were all these
Jeez.
crazy ideas. Like there was another idea they had that on this certain holiday of like a patron saint, they were gonna light these shells off in the sky that made the sky super bright over Cuba to make them think that the second coming of Christ was coming and to like freak them out and send them into like a whirlwind of craziness and like start a war that way. So there were all these
Hysteria. What
documented,
the
yeah, basically like
heck?
mass hysteria in Cuba. So there are all these crazy ideas as part of Operation Mongoose. And one of these ideas, Operation Northwoods, Michael, I'm sure you've heard of this. Dan, have you ever heard
Yeah.
of Operation Northwoods?
No.
So this one's crazy because this to me, the first time that I read this was probably uh 10 years ago. This was the first time that I was ever like, holy crap, the government did what? And so Operation Northwoods, was in 1962. So at this time, there was an invasion of Cuba that was attempted called the Bay of Pigs. And basically what happened was there's this bay, the Bay of Pigs in Cuba, and it was near this town where a bunch of Cuban kind of like communist defectors were, or like people that weren't loving Fidel Castro. And so the US's thought was we're going to get all these Cuban exiles, basically people that have fled, or like we're going to take these people that are against the current Cuban communist regime and that want to fight against it, and we're going to go invade this town that also has a strong, like we're going to go take over this town, and it's going to be easy because this town also is like not loving Castro as well. So they
Hmm.
plan this invasion, and it goes terribly because like the day before, so the plan was they had about 1,500 Cuban exiles that they were going to have storm the beaches, and then the US was going to provide like some air support and then some ground troops as well to come in and bolster the Cubans. And like the day before, Kennedy pulled all the air support back and said, no, we're not doing this. But the Cubans still went. And so the Cubans, like out of those 1,500, I think about 1,200 of them were taken prisoner. I don't know what happened to the other 300. They probably died. But it was this 48-hour invasion that went completely terribly wrong.
Oh.
And it like the US then has all this egg on their face of like, we just tried to attack Cuba and like it failed, you know? And
Yeah.
so it's showing the
How
cracks,
embarrassing.
like it's showing the cracks in the US's like military prowess, you know,
Yeah,
and their
yeah.
ability to take down a small country like Cuba. And so they're really worried about how this is going to look. And so they come up with this plan, Operation Northwoods. And Operation Northwoods, their plan is to basically, there was a US airliner, like a civilian airplane, that they were going to hijack and bomb and blow up a plane with US civilians on it.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Just
Full of
gosh.
just
Americans.
like a normal airplane. Like you're going on vacation to Hawaii, oh, the US hijacked that plane and they were going to blow it up. So the plan was to hijack this plane
Oh
and
my.
blow it up and then blame it on Cuba. And then the US would get all patriotic and like, we got to take down Cuba now.
Yeah.
So this plan made it all the way up through the Joint Chiefs of Staff, basically the highest military authority in the US. And the Joint Chiefs of Staff approve this and they take it to President Kennedy and he says no. He's like, we're not doing this. We're not killing US civilians to justify going
A
to war
war.
with Cuba. Like find a better way. But so this wasn't known by the public that this was proposed because it never happened. No
Mhm.
part of Operation Northwoods ever happened, but in the mid 90s, mid to late 90s, the documents were released as part of a like I think it was a Freedom of Information Act request, or it was some kind of document request that had to do with the JFK assassination. And so all of this stuff about Operation Northwoods was then released as well. So in the 90s, for the first time, the public gets this news of like, hey, the government tried to blow up a US civilian airliner to justify going to war with Cuba. And I don't know, like, I feel
That's
like
so
I can
crazy to
imagine the
me.
government doing some crazy stuff, but to
Yeah.
basically
So
commit
blatant.
domestic terrorism, you know, that is an act of
Yeah.
domestic terrorism and then blame it on another country just for the
Yeah.
sake of going to war with them. Like that's how heightened the tensions were during the Cold War. And luckily President Kennedy put a stop to it. But then that's also like one of the main reasons that people think that he was assassinated.
Yeah.
Um that so President Kennedy, he had a rough time getting stuff done because he did not get along with the military leadership at the time. Like they had agreed to do this Bay of Pigs invasion. He pulls out. He's the one that says, "No, we're taking support back." So the U.S. looks like crap, and the military is pointing the finger at Kennedy. And then like shortly after that, this false flag operation Northwoods doesn't go through, and they're like, President Kennedy, like he's the one to blame. So all of these things that he's doing, like one, they look really bad because he's early in his term, and two, it's making America look bad, and then three, there are reasons that people think that he got assassinated and that the government killed him because he wasn't cooperating with this like military machine, right? He
Yeah.
wasn't a cog in the machine. He wasn't going along with the plan. Like he
Yeah, he wasn't
was,
rubber stamping.
yeah, he
Yeah,
wasn't
very
just like,
interesting
all right,
to the accusations that the CIA were behind the Kennedy assassination. People like to tie that to Operation Northwood and the Bay of Pigs. You can see how bad it makes the CIA look too, because and then again you start to see the problem of having the CIA as a separate intelligence apparatus because they use the CIA to train guerrilla fighters, and
mm-hmm,
they've done that in Afghanistan to fight Al Qaeda and Taliban. Um, yeah, it's something that if America needs to train troops, and I'm sure it's probably the case in the Bay of Pigs with the Cubans. It's like, oh yeah, that's a CIA job. We'll let them do that, train them. That's out from underneath military leadership. So yeah, so those people still get sent and basically to their death, and you know the U.S. military can wash their hands of it because it's not, that's not our branch. And then the way the CIA is set up is like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. We had nothing to do
yeah,
with that. So
mm-hmm.
yeah, it's very
Yeah,
interesting.
it's crazy. Like even before the Bay of Pigs, like a couple days before the U.S. Bombed a Cuban Air Force base, and they took out like 80% of the Cuban Air Force uh
Yeah,
like planes in an effort to help their chances in the Bay of Pigs. But so they do this, they blame it on they blame it on Cuban defectors, right? They basically say, "Oh, well all these Cuban defectors, they had these airplanes and they take off from Cuba and on their way to flee to America, they pass by this Cuban base and bomb all their planes." But there was surveillance footage of the US planes doing it, and they could tell the
yeah.
difference because of like the nose cones on the planes in a Cuban airplane versus an American airplane. So there's just like this mess of so many things going on at one time that's like failure after failure after failure for the US and just like embarrassment after embarrassment. And Operation Northwoods was like a Hail Mary for them of like we gotta really like get this to happen. Like we really have to go to war with them right now and just get it to happen. And so their plan was to kill US civilians.
It's
And
so crazy to me that that makes it all the way through JSOC, all
right.
the way
uh,
through the top military command, the best, what's supposed to be the best military minds, and they
Hmm.
rubber stamp that. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that just
whoa.
really highlights the fear that you guys were talking about earlier. Like the fear just must have been so real that Russia was just gonna come F us up with
Hmm.
Cuba and everything
I
that we
think
were just willing to do anything at that point.
I think there are people. I think the fear is there, and I think the even worse is there's people there to capitalize on the fear. And I think that's the military industrial complex. People who want forever war, makes them a lot of money. Fear is a powerful tool,
Powerful
uh,
motivator, yeah, I agree.
powerful motivator, powerful tool. So what I like to see is, when a president takes office, a clean house of directors of intelligence and, top military leaders. Let's flush out the bureaucracy and change it out. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
the opportunity for corruption only continues to grow the longer somebody remains in those positions of power, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, you see what happens to those presidents that get into a position of power and don't are like so what's the word? So intentional about not just being a cog in the machine.
Yep.
Like you see what happens to him. And
Hmm.
JFK was assassinated. You could
Yeah.
say Trump is one of those guys, and
I was gonna say
there have been
Trump
2
was
assassination attempts
almost
on him too.
yeah.
Ronald Reagan
Um
was one of them.
Mhm.
You know, Ronald
But
Reagan didn't want to have boots on the. He defeated the Soviet Union by spending more money than they could.
yep.
Bankrupted them. So that, which
And
is not what a neocon would want.
well, I mean, Kennedy too, he was very keen on pulling soldiers out of Vietnam.
Yeah,
And
that was one of his main promises, right, during his campaign, I
mhm.
believe,
Yeah, well,
ending that
he
war.
was a veteran, you know, he is a
Yeah,
World War II veteran, and, um, I just think that I wish that we could have seen America with, him finishing his term. Like, I
yeah,
wonder how different the world and America would be if he had finished his term,
Hmm.
yeah. Lyndon B.
because
Johnson was terrible.
I don't think the Vietnam War continues because it went I mean, after he was assassinated, it went on for another Lyndon B. Johnson funded that war for another, what, 7 or 8 years, probably?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
Um,
yep,
and
Fighting for no
yeah,
reason,
for
getting
no
addicted
reason.
to heroin, coming back.
That was a
That's
false flag too that put us into Vietnam was we basically falsified an attack on a US naval ship in the Gulf of
yep,
Tonkin and just
mhm,
used that as a justification to go into the war too. So, it's just there's so many things that
yeah,
just reek of corruption but this is really the first era I feel like where you start to see that in the US.
yeah. The cracks really begin to show, and I think it begins to show in a way. I think you just begin to see that the military leadership, and that level of bureaucracy is not interested in winning a war with finality. You know,
Mhm.
it's a different kind of war.
hmm.
When we fought in World War II, we were playing to win. Both hands were untied, and we were swinging as absolutely as hard as we could. You know,
Yeah.
Maybe it
to
just
win.
seemed more like black and white at that point. It seemed more of like a good versus
Yeah.
evil type of scenario. So it was a lot
And I
of
get and I
Well,
battling
get that
for it, and
there's different sets of rules, and there's a lot of things you could say about it, but when it comes down to it, it's these kind of proxy wars against superpowers, and we're the superpower that put boots on the ground and had soldiers die for it. And you know I think if there was I think there are a couple ways it could have ended. A president who had the stones to just pull out of it, and or a president who had the stones to just finish it, you know, to like really go in there and want to win. You're America fighting the
yeah.
Viet Cong. Come on.
I mean, realistically,
Come
you
on.
won World War II in a couple of days. Like,
Yeah.
you could have won the Vietnam War in a day, in a couple
Yeah.
of days too.
Yeah. Like, come on.
dang. But I
Yeah.
think what this really highlights to me is how little I know about our history and how naive I must be to think that we're like the good guys. I know we talked about this the other day, and that's kind of why we wanted to bring you on, Michael, and we're playing
Mhm.
Battlefield. We're like, because
Yeah.
Kippy was like, hey, like Michael knows a lot about history. We should definitely bring him on. But like, I don't know. I love America. I know you guys love America too. It just makes me sad to think that we have been a part of some pretty bad things. And even to like our own
Yeah.
people, it seems like so wild to me that we would even consider that. And then the other thing that begs the question to me is like, what kind of stuff is going on today that follows that same vein? You know what I mean? Like, what other crap
Yeah.
what other lies have we not caught? You know, like what other things have happened because we were just messing stuff up and just meddling and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's
You wouldn't believe the the number of things we could talk about.
I'm sure there's a
And
lot, and
well,
I'm just not very versed in it,
all
right?
this
But
is all this really has done to me over like, the past couple years is made me like understand what is it about America that makes it worth fighting for. And I think you have to go back to America's founding, and it was the first time that any group of people in the world had the collective thought that um, as a person born in the world, you're given certain rights from God. The right, you know, of liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
Right, yeah.
Like those fundamental beliefs are the ones that are worth fighting for. And are we a perfect nation? Absolutely not. Is the bureaucracy too big? Absolutely. Is there corruption? Yes. But it's still something that's worth fighting for. It's worth casting your vote for. And
100%.
yeah,
And
I
the
couldn't agree
freedoms in
more.
America, yeah, the freedoms we enjoy in America, you take it for granted. And
yeah.
I mean, you go anywhere else in the world and just like how many people, over 12,000 people in Great Britain have been jailed or thrown in
Yep.
jail for social media posts?
Great Britain, you couldn't talk
That's
about
wild.
if you were from China, you couldn't talk about the Chinese government the way we talk about our own government. We can sit here
Mhm.
and have a conversation about the horrible things our own government has done and has been accused of, and we're perfectly free to do that.
And we can
Yep.
And
share it with anyone in the world and
yeah,
try to make money from it.
yeah,
And like that
yeah,
concept is wild. We can criticize their government and share
yeah,
our opinions, and we're not afraid someone's gonna show up at our door and bust our kneecaps or whatever.
yeah,
The most scared I ever was doing this podcast is when we did the Clinton kill count episode, though. I thought for sure we were gonna get suicided after that one, you know?
yeah.
Dude, I
Yes, it
that
was.
one was a good one.
Dude, that
I
Yeah,
one
did
was
not know.
wild.
That one's wild.
yeah, dude. There's some dirty families in America, and Clinton is the top of the list, man.
I feel like power just does that to people, though. It's just like this
Mm,
insatiable thing that people that are
yeah,
in power want to stay in power, and
yeah.
they're just
I
willing to do
support.
anything to do it to keep it.
I wholeheartedly support term limits for senators, and I don't think that
Yeah.
if you're elected to U.S. Congress, you shouldn't be able to trade on the stock market, and I don't
Yeah.
think you should
Isn't
be able
that
to.
something recent
I
that topic that
That's
came
something that's
up?
been floated around. There's some senators who have talked about putting forth legislation that would prohibit senators from trading on the stock market, which is absolutely needed because if you look at the number of people who enter government and then leave it like insanely rich,
Well,
like
So
not
you're
only
saying I
that,
should
like,
change my career?
I'm a Donald. If you look at it, Donald Trump is one of the only presidents who was poorer when he left office. Every single one else was way wealthier. The
Just
Obamas,
infinitely more wealthy.
they amassed an insane amount of wealth
yeah.
over
Dang.
the 8 years that he was in
What
office.
what's the president's salary, like 450 grand or something? And the
Well,
Obamas are
it's
worth
even that
like
high. Yeah,
they're worth
more than 10
tens of
billion.
millions now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's crazy, and the senators are the worst victims of it. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, you know, her
Yeah.
portfolio tracks
Dude,
has tracked like way better than the S&P 500, like
the yeah.
insanely better.
Well,
Yeah, like you,
see, and
it's
like the
crazy.
money making, like, yeah, that's stupid that people do that. But more than the money making, it's like, how's that influencing your policy? How's that influencing
Yeah.
how you're voting on stuff and like
Is
the
there just
bills that
no
you're passing?
integrity in this world anymore?
As much as like, um, I know Donald Trump is probably the most controversial figure in politics and probably will be for my lifetime, but I will say I've never seen somebody he will take money from anybody, but that doesn't mean he owes you anything. I've seen tons of times taken money from people and done the complete opposite of what they would want him to do. It's like, yeah, I like a guy who can't be bought. He's kind of a wild card, so
If
yeah.
nothing else, he provides more entertainment value than any president we've ever
Yeah.
had.
You got to think that like all the talk shows are like, well, we hate Trump, but he's going to give us a lot of content. So
Yeah.
there's a trade-off.
Yeah. Interesting. There's definitely something to be said, especially on like my field. As an accountant, you are responsible for tracking every single dollar that your company spends.
Yeah.
the amount of dollars our own government can't even account for
It's
is insane.
mind-boggling. Yeah.
And I
It's
would go
wild.
to prison if I misstate my taxes. Like,
Yeah. It's wild how many
Make that
audits
make
the
sense,
government
right?
has failed. Like, I don't think the government's
yeah,
ever passed a financial audit.
especially the Department of
The
the Department
irony
of
in
War
that.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Anyway, yeah,
Don't talk about the finance. Don't dig into the finances and the 9/11 conspiracy.
yeah, right.
I know nothing about that either,
We
so
talk about this and like it's not that unreasonable. Like when you hear
Yeah.
conspiracies, you're like, I don't know,
So
maybe that's
so
crazy.
Dan, 15-second riff on that. The day
right.
before 9/11, the Secretary of the Treasury came out and said that the US had like mysteriously lost $17 trillion. We didn't know what
Couldn't
happened to
find
it.
it.
Couldn't find it. And then the next
Wasn't
day
it
9/11
specifically?
happens.
Wasn't it specifically the Pentagon that lost it?
Yeah, it was the Pentagon. So that yeah, the next day then so the World
And
Trade
then
Center's hit and the
right
Pentagon's
where
hit and
that, yeah,
the
right where
one
the
wing of the
plane crashed
Pentagon,
into the Pentagon is where supposedly all the
yeah,
documents were kept.
it was the accounting department at the Pentagon.
Is where the plane
So,
crashed into.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying anything, but I'm like, that's a little
Hmm.
fishy. It's a little fishy. And then you look into it and
It
see that
begs some
George W. Bush's
questions.
brother was like a head of the company that did security at both airports where the planes took off from, and I don't
Yeah,
know,
and then there's so many things you're like,
I've never heard this.
Yep, and all the stock trades that like options trading that happened within that week, like it's
yep,
wild, dude.
Man,
That's
you guys
see,
just
yeah,
sound
I
like
would
there's
tinfoil hats now.
yeah, I got Tim Wow, but the number of senators who like had invested in defense companies like right before that,
mm, the
it's crazy, man. I'll put my tinfoil hat on, but it's just
Maybe we should
yeah,
have
so
that. Now that we're doing video, we should have a tinfoil hat that we put
yeah.
on. We're like, okay, here we go.
Here in
Just
our
boop.
tinfoil
Like,
hats.
there it is.
So
My wildest theories.
I actually did an episode on my cousin's podcast called Wrecked, and we did a 9/11 conspiracy two-part like dive into it. Um, I don't know if I wanna do one yet for this show or not, because those tragedies, I'm like it's
Yeah,
hard to talk about, like, the biggest tragedy of the 21st century,
Yeah.
yeah,
and talk
and
about it
that's
on
the
and, like, and then doubt it. Like, it's hard to doubt it.
yeah,
But there's some fishy stuff around it. Go look into it
yeah. That's
yourselves.
why I tried to end mine just by saying like, again, you can see why, like, how much good that these operations could do,
Yeah.
but then it comes with its own host of problems. But there has to be something said for the good things, that happened because of Air America and lives that were saved and American lives, you know, that were saved from some of these operations. So anyway,
Well, I think that wraps it up nicely for this one. Michael, thank you for joining us. That was fun to
Yeah.
have
Thanks
you
for
on.
yeah,
coming,
that was
man. I
awesome.
appreciate it.
Yeah, that was a good time. Loved it.
I
Thanks for
learned a
having me.
lot. Yeah, I learned a lot. So, man, if anything, I just learned that I need to be more skeptical,
Yeah.
which just makes me more sad because I just want to believe the world is better than it is, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just keep my rose-colored glasses, right?
There you go.
Ignorance is bliss or whatever. I will say, okay, I will plug our Discord again. So if you guys want to come join our Discord, the Cryptid Corner, come join it. If you have experiences, paranormal experiences, if you have conspiracies, whatever, let us know. We want to talk to you. Maybe we'll plug it on the podcast. And don't forget, leave a review. We want some reviews. Hopefully good ones. If you leave a bad one, I
Please.
guess you
Yeah.
could. If you leave a bad one, make it funny. Cause then
Yeah.
maybe we'll read it too. So
Yeah. We should if we ever get bad reviews, we should read them all on the show just to
what if
like
they're like so
Yeah.
true? They're like, that Dan guy, look at that face. Like, how could you have that guy on your podcast?
it's like his voice
I'll go.
pairs exactly with his face. It's awful.
uh, Oh man. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Thanks for
Thanks, guys.
joining us.